conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world. What is up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we're here to talk about some second thoughts I was having after watching more clips of the Dallas Mavericks game, which the Rockets won yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago now, maybe 100-95. So preseason game number 5 in 2013. And I was just looking through the comments right now of the long video, and commenter Jack Cheng was saying that Jeremy did well in this game. It was there was a lot of positive things from this game, and I agree with that. In the video description below the video player, I put in a video for highlights of the game. So if you haven't checked that out, I'm sure a lot of you have checked it out. Go and watch it again. I looked at that. I looked at some other clips and just it took a little bit of a different perspective on this game from watching those footage pieces. What you see with Jeremy now, this game was better than I thought it was. The main thing in this game, as we talked about, was that Jeremy didn't shoot well. Now, sometimes he misses layups, even close layups, but he's not going to miss most of those layups in most games. He's also not likely to shoot 0 of 2 from three-point range in most games. I did still feel like he's a little bit sick right now. Maybe not totally over the infection, but when you watch Jeremy play this game and you look at the big picture, he played great. He played with pace, meaning he played fast. He was aggressive. He was attacking. And you can see that he's getting more and more comfortable. He's starting to find his zone of comfort. Jeremy has said that he is somebody who is a creature of comfort, meaning he's got to get relaxed. He's got to get used to the situation. He's got to get used to the teammates. He's got to get used to the city before he does his best. And I agree with that. If you watch how he's done, think that is true. Not all guys are like that. Not all guys are like that. Some guys just don't care. They can just come in. They don't care what the situation is and just kind of go to work. Now, I'm not saying that this is a weakness of Jeremy. It's not. It's just how he is. Some people are like this. Many people are like this. What I see in Jeremy, and I saw it in this game, looking back over it, and you certainly saw it in the Taiwan game, is that Jeremy's starting to find that comfort zone. He's starting to get his swag back. You're starting to see some of what he showed during Linsanity 1.0. And when he's in that zone, then he's like an NBA offensive wizard, which is what we've talked about before. He can do things very few players can do. And it energizes everybody. It energizes the team. It energizes the fans. And that was part of the Linsanity magic. It's not just that Jeremy is. It's not just what his background is, being Asian American or being of Asian heritage. It's how he plays. It's the way that he plays, the style that he plays. That's what makes people like him so much. I pointed out in the video description, in the stuff for the highlights, go and watch how the crowd reacts when Jeremy steals the ball and passes it to Donatas Motiejunas for the dunk. Watch the crowd. I can see the little security guard that's in there with the little red vest. They do a little fist pump. The crowd just going crazy because of how special Jeremy is and what he's able to do on the court. And then right after that play, watch how the team reacts when Jeremy takes the charge against the Dallas player, whatever, midway in the fourth quarter, it's near the end of the video. The team is so fired up because they know Jeremy's in that he's on a roll, he's in the zone, and it energizes the team. And this is the preseason. You'll get some of this, but you don't usually get a lot of this. Teams just, they want to do the game, get it over with, and move on. But that's the kind of effect Jeremy has on his teammates and on the fans. And it's very rare. And he is feeling more confident. He's starting to be able to find his spots with this team. And I think you're going to see more and more of that. And I can understand now why he was so happy after the game. I made a remark on Twitter right after this game saying it was great to see Jeremy happy even though he didn't play his best game, which is true. He didn't play his best game in terms of statistics and missing shots, but he was on a roll in the fourth quarter. And so I think both things are true, which is his temperament, his attitude is better than it was last year because he put so much pressure on himself, which is he talked about in his testimonies. And he's not doing that now, which is good. But also he knows he's playing well. And I missed that. I didn't grasp that when I looked at the interview yesterday. He understands that he's carving out his little zone and that he's going to be able to do this more and more. He's done this now in consecutive games. He did it in Taiwan against the Pacers, and now he did it against Dallas. If you watch the Taiwan game, I think it was near the end of the first quarter, Jeremy had just total swag, just complete confidence. I haven't really seen that from him much since Linsanity 1.0. And that makes sense. He was hurt last year. He was stressed last year. But now you're slowly starting to see it come back. In that fourth quarter sequence, and in the third quarter near the end of the quarter, he got back into that zone. And so he knows he can do it again now. He's starting to see that he can repeat that over and over again. And the more you're able to repeat something, the more confident you get about it, the more confidence you have generally. And so I think that's part of why Jeremy was so happy after the game. It's like, yeah, I was able to do that in that stretch of time. I can feel it coming back now. It's coming to me now. And it's just great. This is what's going to build his confidence going forward and allow him to get to that mental comfort that he needs to be able to play his best basketball. Jeremy does seem to be a person who has to be in the right frame of mind to play his best. As I said, not everybody's like that. LeBron is like that. LeBron had issues for years. People criticized him. He's scared. He gets stressed out. He does get a little stressed out. But when he's in his comfort zone, he's unstoppable. Jeremy's like that. There are people who are not like that. Michael Jordan, not like that. Kobe, not like that. They don't care. They don't care what you think. They don't care about anything. They're just going to play their game no matter what, no matter what anybody thinks, and no matter what they feel. But for now, in this point in Jeremy's career, he's not like that. And that's okay, as long as he's able to find his comfort zone, and he's starting to do that. And so this is a very good sign for what's to come, regardless of who's starting or any of that stuff. If Jeremy's able to find his spots and play the way that he did in the third and fourth quarter, it doesn't matter. It won't matter. He's going to put up numbers, and you're going to see Linsanity 2.0, which is what we saw in burst in the game against Dallas, even though his numbers weren't great overall. it's very exciting. It's very exciting to be able to see this. And you can become less sensitive. The more that you do an activity, the more you force yourself to be in a situation, the more you can desensitize yourself to something. And so for Jeremy, he might be relatively sensitive right now. He might need his comfort zone or whatever, but the more he keeps playing and the more he's able to play through that, the tougher he's going to get. Most of you know there has been discussions all over Haterville and just in general for people that say Jeremy's not mentally tough. Well, that's not true. He is mentally tough. That's how he's gotten to this point in his career, even though a bunch of people doubted him. But he is sensitive, in my opinion. And he will have moments where he can get a little overwhelmed, like in the playoffs last year, like how he needs to be in a comfort zone to play well. But he's working through that. Will get better, just like it got better for LeBron. 2 years ago, LeBron, he just gets so geeked up, so anxious and pumped up before games, he couldn't perform his best. So many of you, if you know the story, LeBron started reading books before games. Like he started doing specific things to calm his mind. I think he talked with maybe the team sports psychologist or whatever to find strategies to do that. Well, Jeremy can do that too. In other words, these are things that you can make them better. And so if I were Jeremy, I would continue to work on that. I would look for ways to get even stronger mentally. And honestly, a lot of getting stronger mentally is just doing it. This is one of the reasons why I'm so encouraged or okay with the competition with Patrick Beverley. As I've said repeatedly in these videos and on message boards around the internet, on Clutch Fans, on Real GM, competition is good. People get all afraid of it or they want to protect their guy. No. Competition is good because it makes you get better. And so for Jeremy to be around somebody like Patrick Beverley and to have to compete against him, Patrick's a very mentally tough person. And part of that is probably because he had to play in Europe. Nobody wanted him. And I've heard him talk about some of his experiences in Europe, and they were very tough. Well, that makes you tougher. Again, and that's what competition and going through tough times does. It makes you harder mentally. That's a great thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's what's happening for Jeremy. So everything Jeremy went through last year, coming in feeling like he had to be the savior of Houston basketball, then being basically pushed to the back burner because James Harden came in, being dissed by everybody who didn't want to accept or acknowledge that his knee wasn't right at the beginning of the year, struggling, coaches dissing him some, Patrick playing well. It's very difficult while it's happening, but it makes you tougher once you can kind of put it all together and kind of step back and look at it. It's going to make you a better player. It's going to make you mentally stronger. And that's what's happening for Jeremy. And it's clearly worked. He did a lot of training this offseason. He put in a lot of work. And he's responding to these difficult situations a little bit better. Now, again, he's always been clutch. We saw it during Linsanity 1.0. We saw the games against the Lakers, hitting the three-pointer against Toronto, scoring 16 points in the fourth quarter against the Sixers. But you can always get stronger mentally. And all of this stuff is making Jeremy even stronger and helping him get past that maybe that one particular weakness or issue with the sensitivity or needing to be in the comfort zone to play his best. Great. I've told you guys many times, coming to Houston and playing in a different system and having to play a different role, like spot-up shooter and off the ball, that's going to help Jeremy in his career. It's already helping him, and it's going to help him even more because it makes him work on things he's not good at. It's the same thing mentally with all of these difficulties. Jeremy's fine now. He's got a $25 million contract. He's wealthy for life. He's set. He's a global icon. No matter what happens from now on, he's going to be fine. And I think he's starting to realize that. Like, hey, you're cool. Just relax. You're good. He's not on the couch anymore. All of that stuff. So now it's just about, now he can focus more, just kind of like, okay, you don't have to be Linsani every night, and you can kind of go back to basics and work on your weaknesses. Work on your skills weaknesses, work on your mental strength, and and be honest about it. He doesn't have to be a perfect player right now. He doesn't have to be Michael Jordan. That's okay. And I think he's more okay with that now. A lot of his fans have very high expectations of him, and that's fine. But he's slowing down and just letting himself get better. Letting himself just be a guy instead of be Linsani every night and feel like if he's not, he failed. Because you can't win like that. It won't work. And that's what happened to him last year. And that's not a winning strategy. And now he knows that. So I'm really excited. There were times last year when we watched Jeremy, and I could feel when Linsani 2.0 was coming on. And I would say it in videos. It's coming. It's going to happen. And oftentimes we got that right. Well, in looking at this game again, and looking at the Taiwan game before this, you can see very good things are coming for him. They're on the way. Just stay healthy, keep going. But they're coming. And just to repeat, if I were Jeremy, you can't do it now. You can't do it during the season. There's really not a lot of time to do it. But after this offseason, just after this season, I would go and I would look into the type of things like LeBron did with the mental strategies, whatever that is. And I'm not saying Jeremy's weak or needs to see a psychologist. A sports psychologist is a different thing. A sports psychologist is somebody that helps you perform your best as an athlete. So Jeremy's fine. He doesn't need a counselor or anything. I'm not saying that. But how can he become as strong mentally as he possibly can? And I think that's something that could benefit him in the same way that it did for LeBron. And that's something I might look into. And again, just keep competing. Keep competing with Patrick and whatever, and that's going to make you stronger and stronger as well. I also noticed, looking at the footage, how well Jeremy's passing on the pick and roll. Obviously, that pass to Dwight for the dunk when Dwight was coming on the right side of the lane. He had two passes to Dwight that resulted in dunks. But I'm talking about the one when Dwight ran to the basket on the right side of the lane. Jeremy made that play happen. He made that play happen. Dwight came and he set a pick on Jeremy's man. At that point in time, Jeremy was in control of the whole play. And what Jeremy did, and you can go and look at this in the highlights, Jeremy aggressively went right at the big man. And what I mean by the big man is when Dwight set the pick on Jeremy's man, I believe Jose Calderon, then the big man who was guarding Dwight, maybe it was D'Alembert, I can't remember, he had to make a decision. Do I stay with Dwight or do I guard Jeremy? Do I switch defenders and guard Jeremy? Well, Jeremy forced him to make a decision because he ran right at him. What Jeremy was basically saying by what he did is, you better stop me or I'm going to score a layup. What that did is that made the guy come up to him, and Dwight saw it, and Dwight was wide open for a dunk. And Jeremy got him a perfect pass. That's why Jeremy's so good. He's so aggressive. He makes you switch on to him. He makes you play him. And when you have somebody like Dwight, it's just going to be dunk city. Again, this isn't Omer, and I like Omer. This isn't Omer who might not be able to finish. Dwight's going to finish everything. And that's what happens. So you're going to see much, much, much more of this. Jeremy's he's an expert at this. He's incredible. And it's going to get better and better. Look, he had a great play to Omer, too. It's also in the highlights. When he passed the ball to Omer, I believe it was off a pick and roll. And Omer scored on the play. Omer can't jump like Dwight can. But he's still huge. He's probably, 265, 270. He's a big guy. He's improving on offense. And Omer's a terrific player. And Jeremy has good chemistry with Omer. And so he's just extremely, extremely good at what is, they're called pocket passes. Those little bounce passes or little passes to the guy, they're usually bounce passes. The reason why they're called pocket passes, when you do a pick and roll, the man who rolls to the basket, which is the guy that sets the pick, he sets the pick, then he rolls off to the basket. There's a pocket of space that is created by doing a pick and roll. And that's where you want the pass to be. That's where the pass needs to be able to finish the play. And Jeremy's great at making that pocket pass. And that's what it is. That's why pick and roll is one of the most basic things that in basketball, just because it's, if you run it properly, it's almost unstoppable. And Jeremy, as we know, is great at doing that. Okay, moving on. So, as I said, just to summarize that part, the game was better than I thought it was, just like Jack Chang and I think some others mentioned in the comments. It was better than I thought. I was a little too much focused on the statistics, and I didn't see the whole picture. But looking at the whole picture, it's very, very good for Jeremy, particularly when you include the Taiwan game, and you can see he's gaining confidence. He's finding his comfort zone, which is very important to him as a player, based upon what he has said. All right, moving on. Also in the video description, you will see information about a video interview with Patrick Beverley. And he totally compliments Jeremy. He says Jeremy's a quote-unquote phenomenal playmaker. And he says Jeremy doesn't get enough credit, which is both of those things are true. Now, look, a number of people have come to me or written to me or said in the comments or told me on Twitter, hey, Paul, why are you talking about Patrick Beverley so much? And the message to me is, we're Jeremy fans, and Patrick's kind of like the enemy. He's the guy that might take the starting spot from Jeremy. So why are you talking about him? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I like Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley is a good guy from what I can tell. He's an excellent player. He's played extremely well in his time here. Yes, he's not a perfect player. I'm not saying I want him to start over Jeremy, and I'm not saying I think he should start over Jeremy. But I don't want to just hate on Patrick Beverley. That's not productive. And again, going back to the competition thing, just have a clean competition. Don't try to put down the other guy. Just let the guys compete, because both of them will get better if they do that. If you like Jeremy, let him do it. Don't try to protect him. Let him do it. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Pardon me. This is going to help Jeremy. And again, the videos are about Jeremy, and we're Jeremy Lin fans. So if you want Jeremy to become a better player, then let him compete with Patrick Beverley. Even if Patrick Beverley beats him out in the eyes of the Rockets, Jeremy is still going to get better. No player comes into the league. I don't care who it is. No player comes into the league a finished product. Everybody has to improve. Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, everybody. Jeremy is still improving. He's not at the pinnacle yet. This is particularly true for point guards, because that's often the most difficult position to play, because you have to guide everything. So Jeremy doesn't have to be number one right now. I want him to be number one in his career. So it's okay if he's not a perfect player yet, or if someone else comes along to push him. Everybody watching this video knows about competition. If you're a guy that works out at the gym, you're doing great, you look good and everything, then a new guy comes in, he looks a little bit better. He's lifting a little bit more weight. Well, that makes you work harder. Good, great. You're a young woman and you're used to getting a bunch of attention from guys. Well, then someone else new comes along and she's getting a bunch of attention. Well, then you do a little bit more, or you try a little bit harder, or whatever. This good. Certainly with John and I, and our mindset, we like competition. John's a four-time national champion in powerlifting. He loves competition. I like competition. I'm used to competing. It's not a bad thing. So I'm not worried about Jeremy. He needs this. This is going to help him. Now, he doesn't need to be disrespected by the organization or by haters. He doesn't need that. But he needs the competition to get to his best. So I'm like, bring it on, dude. Great. Let's do this. Awesome. Don't be afraid of that. And don't be mad at Patrick. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Don't get mad at Patrick. Patrick didn't do anything. I'm happy for Patrick. Patrick's a success story the same way that Jeremy's a success story. Nobody wanted Patrick in the NBA. He's off playing in Europe in obscurity. Daryl Morey and the team finds him, and he comes in and he starts kicking butt. Great. Good for him. That's great. I'm happy for him. He's doing a great job, and he's a good example for Jeremy. So it's great. They actually have very similar stories in a lot of ways. Now, looking over at all of the statistics from last year and this year, Patrick has a slight edge in the statistics. He does. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, but that is true. And so we have to recognize that. If the Rockets decide to start Patrick and not Jeremy, then there's some basis for doing that. And that's reality. As I said in a recent video, I'm pro-reality. That doesn't mean I think he should start or that Patrick needs to start and Jeremy can't start. No. Patrick's done well. He's playing well. He has played well. And Jeremy's also played well. The story is not that Jeremy isn't any good, which is what many haters want to say and pretend, and they want to, it's basically a confirmation bias. They're looking for something to prove they were right that Jeremy's not any good. Well, that's not what this is. It's that Patrick's much better than what people thought he was going to be. Daryl Morey, in a recent interview, I think on 790 AM in Houston, the radio station, said that what he's hoping for with the Patrick and Jeremy situation is something that happened with Kevin Johnson and Mark Price. This was, I think, late 1980s when they both played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kevin Johnson and Mark Price were both terrific point guards. They both were all-stars. But in Cleveland at that time, Kevin Johnson was the backup to Mark Price. So he didn't get to play much. So nobody knew Kevin Johnson could be an all-star until there was a trade made. And I think Kevin Johnson went to Phoenix, and then he became the Kevin Johnson as a player that we all know. That's what Morey is comparing the Patrick Beverley circumstance to. In other words, nobody knew he was going to be like this. And he's not saying Jeremy's bad. He's saying both guys are really, really good. Both guys potentially could be all-star level or somewhere close to that. And I completely agree with that. That's what's really important for I believe, for Jeremy's fans to understand. This isn't about Jeremy not being good. It's about Patrick being very good and Jeremy being very good. When you look at the numbers of Jeremy and Patrick, you look at them in this preseason, you look at them last season, you're basically seeing that these two guys are they're probably two of the top 5 players on the team, but they play the same position usually. So it's not an easy situation to deal with who you're going to play. This is why they're playing them both at the same time, because you want your best players on the court. However, as Clyde Drexler said during the Dallas game, they're a little bit too small to play together sometimes, meaning that Jeremy's not really big for a shooting guard. He's 6'3". Well, there are shooting guards that are 6'7", and that's going to be difficult. So Houston's trying to manage, how do we get our best players on the court but not have really bad defensive matchups, like Jeremy trying to guard somebody's taller than Kobe at shooting guard, which that can happen, and it will happen. When Patrick mentioned that Jeremy is not given enough credit, what he was talking about was Jeremy playing defense against other shooting guards, and he's right. One of the things we've said is everybody has this idea Jeremy's bad on defense. No, Jeremy's pretty good on defense. When he's not good on defense is against little tiny point guards like Nate Robinson that are just too quick. Well, guess what? If you put anybody that's 6'3" against Nate Robinson, they're probably going to have a hard time. But if you put Jeremy against shooting guards that are a little bit bigger, he's pretty good at that. He's pretty good at that because he's big and he's tenacious on defense. He's working very, very hard, even though he does have lateral foot speed, meaning side-to-side foot speed issues. That's not his best quality as an athlete. So I've brought up before about the Phoenix Suns 1996-1997 situation, I believe it was. Kevin Johnson, Jason Kidd, Sam Cassell, and Steve Nash, all on the same team during the same season. You got to make decisions. You can't play everybody. But this is, as I've said many times, I'm not worried about Jeremy. Even if he's not the starter, if he plays like he's playing, and as we see him developing, getting the comfort zone, even if Houston doesn't start him, he's going to be starting somewhere very soon. And he's still going to be doing well in Houston as a sixth man, if that's what happens, like James Harden in Oklahoma City, like Manu Ginobili for San Antonio. I'm not saying I want that. But for Jeremy's career, it doesn't matter. He's still going to be playing well and still going to be improving and getting more and more confident. And so that's where things are headed, no matter whether he starts or not. And that's really, really good. And look, we've only got a week left before the season begins. So the decision on who's going to start is going to happen soon. And I know Kevin McHale has said he might not make a decision. In other words, he might keep alternating starts during the regular season. That's okay. Okay, he can do that. And it might even make sense to do that, given who the opponent is and these types of things. They're still evaluating all this. So as I watch Jeremy more now and I see how his attitude is, I want him to start, but I'm less and less concerned about it because I know how well he's playing. And if he's able to keep playing like this, I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about his mentality. I don't care what people's perception of him is in terms of, I want him to be perceived well, but haters are going to hate. If they want to hate on Jeremy, they're going to find something to hate on him about. So I don't even care about those people. Don't worry about that. They don't matter. The only thing I care about is Jeremy and how he's doing. Finally, on this, on the basketball stuff, Kevin McHale also praised Jeremy in comments from earlier, well, I guess yesterday now, after practice, and I put information about that video in the video description as well. He basically said, yeah, Jeremy played well in the game, and Jeremy did play well in the game. Again, he played even a little bit better than what I thought he had played. And it's good that Kevin McHale was saying that, and I don't think he's saying that just to soften the blow for when Jeremy gets benched. I think he was being honest. McHale's a pretty honest guy. He's pretty straight shooter. So usually he'll say what he feels. And he's right. Jeremy did play well. And he also said that Patrick and Jeremy played well together, which they did. Look, even if Jeremy's coming off the bench, if he's getting 30, 35 minutes, that's great. He got 33 minutes yesterday, I believe. If he can do that, he's going to be in a really good spot. Okay, a couple other things just to clear up or talk about. I want to thank the poster YJ. I don't know her name, and I think it's a her. Over at Isay.tw, they did a translation of the video that I made about Jeremy's game in Taiwan, and really appreciate that. It was a very, very long translation. Well, it was a long video, so you would imagine that the translation would be long as well. Thanks a lot for doing that. Yeah, I did mention you guys. I know that YJ, you put something in that video, or in your post, updating it, saying, hey, Paul, we saw that you mentioned us. Yeah, I did mention you guys. You guys have been really nice to us, and we appreciate that, and we do see it. Somebody let me know about this. Somebody told me about this, but I've seen a number of posts that you guys have put up about us before, and we definitely appreciate that, and we are aware of it. I'll go in, I'll translate it, and I read the comments and everything, and we appreciate what you've done, and thanks a lot for translating that. I'm not feeling that hot right now, which if you watch these videos, is something that happens quite a bit. So I'm a little bit behind on answering comments and Twitter and everything about that. Sorry about that. I'll catch up as fast as I can, but I've seen everything that's sent my way on Twitter from various people. I've received all of that information. Kenya Oliver Bemis, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thanks a lot for the kind words. It's great to have you as a viewer and a commenter. I'm glad that you were able to comment for the first time in the long video of the Dallas game. Appreciate that very much. Anderson Huu, you suggested stuff and you mentioned things about JeremyLin.net. As far as marking the video, I got to learn how to do that. I mean, I know how to do it in the video description, obviously. Brent Yen said something similar, put like tabs and where different things are. I used to put stuff in the video description. I would put in the minute markers like, okay, at this minute, this. And I think you can make those and make them clickable and stuff. I don't know how to do it. I haven't done that in a long time just because it takes a long time to do it. I mean, many times I'll make the video and listen to it afterwards, but I don't always do that. And so for me to put the times and stuff, I have to do that. So if the video is an hour long, then I got to make the video and then listen to it right afterwards and then put in the times and stuff. So that's another hour, 2 hours to do it. So I'm not opposed to doing it, but it's probably not something that's going to happen right now, realistically speaking, just because of how long these videos take to make, and particularly now that I'm going to try to do a short video and a long video. So what you and Brent said are great suggestions. I just don't know if I can do it right now, but we'll see. Anderson, you also mentioned about JeremyLin.net and how they have a whole bunch of commenters, and you want to see some of the commenters come over here. I'm glad JeremyLin.net has a bunch of commenters. They're a great site, and they're doing well. Their format, the commenting format and everything, is better than the formatting comment formatting on YouTube. You know, you have like the indented comments, and I think people get notices like when they get comment responses. And so I expect that people are going to have an easier time commenting there than they will in the YouTube videos. And that's okay. Now, again, we always want to make our stuff better and encourage as many viewers and commenters as we can make it. But if people watch the videos and are commenting more at JeremyLin.net, that's okay with me. I'm not. That's all right. I understand that because of how the setup is, that's probably going to happen more. And we see that. I see people that are viewers, and they'll comment much more at JeremyLin.net than they do in our videos, and that's okay. We welcome them commenting, but the setup over there is a little bit better for the commenting, and so I can kind of understand that. But certainly, we welcome all commenters and all viewers, so that's great. Just want to give a shout out to Blyon and all the other people making the highlight videos. You guys are doing a great job. I know a whole bunch of people appreciate your work, including me. Blyon made a video the other day, and I went and I gave him went and said hello over there, and he subbed to me and I subbed to him on YouTube, and that's great. He's done great work, I know, for Jeremy and for other NBA stuff for quite a while. So just wanted to kind of give him a little bit of a shout out. Again, people have asked us, hey, can you guys do highlight videos? Can you guys do stuff like B-ball breakdown? We can't do it right now. B-ball breakdown's tech setup is better than mine. John has a great tech setup. Mine, not as good. We'll work on that. The other thing is we're very hesitant to do video stuff regarding copyright issues. In other words, we're hesitant to use other people's stuff, like NBA's video. We'll look at it. We want to do it, but it's not going to happen right now. I would love to be making Jeremy highlight videos, but it's not something that's doable or that we want to do quite yet. But we'll continue to look at that as time moves forward. So that's about it. I just wanted to make this video to kind of, the main reason was I wanted to share what Patrick and Kevin said about Jeremy after the game, actually after practice the day after the game. And I wanted to say, yeah, Jeremy was even better in the game than I thought he was, even though he missed some shots. And there's a trend here. He's trending upwards in his confidence and his ability to find a comfort zone. And that looks like a sign that good things are on the way. So again, I'm not worried right now about the starting point guard thing. I'm really not. I want Jeremy to start, but I'm honestly not concerned about it. I'm cool with it. And Jeremy looks cool with it, which is the main thing. Just play your game. Play your game and keep improving. Everything else will take care of itself. Again, many point guards have been dissed before Jeremy. We've talked about Steve Nash. Basically, again, the Dallas Mavericks giving up on Steve Nash 7 or 8 years into his career. Thought he was hurt too much and wasn't going to be able to do it. Kevin Johnson having to sit behind Mark Price. John Stockton didn't start the first 3 years of his career, I don't think. So it's okay. Jeremy can get through this. None of us like seeing it. We don't want McHale or the organization to be blatantly dissing Jeremy. We want him to give him a fair shot. He's doing well, and things are looking good. The more he's able to find these little surges and Linsanity burst, it's going to get better and better for him. So that's it for now. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Your comments below. It's about 6:20 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States on Wednesday, October 23rd, which means it is 6:20 p.m. in Taipei, Taiwan on Wednesday, October 23rd. I don't know if I'm going to be coming to the comments because I just kind of woke up super early. I decided to make the video, and I might sleep a little bit more right now. But I will be down there eventually. Again, I am PFE, Paul at Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Jeremy Lin. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We do strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Hope you have a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again soon.